Okay, so you guys have to bear with me on this when I'm recording this from two different angles. So, on this, what's happening, my good people? It is your boy PKG Deluxe back with another vid on how I did. You already know what it is. And I'm about to do an install, right? But this is at my folks' house, my parents' house. And you see this thing behind me, the little chandelier part? Yeah, so we're about to take that down and install that bad boy right there behind me. So we're doing something to see if we can learn another skill, but this is a once in a rarely common time that I've tried something where I've been asked to do it, but I didn't know how to do. So now I'm having to learn on the fly when it comes to it. And I got my dad here to really help me out with it. So this is going to be my first time doing a ceiling mounting fan install. We're going to see how this goes. Wish me luck, guys. All right. PKG Deluxe is here. PKG Deluxe is out, baby. Okay, so this is when the job actually gets cool. So I'm doing my first ceiling install for a light for a fan, and I already told my dad I have absolutely no idea on how to do this. And the coolest part about it is try it anyway. So the cool part about doing this install was I noticed a few things that were similar that you can do on a lot of other products as well. So there's been times where I've spoken about doing some floodlights installs, right? And the floodlights are like one of the most common things that people like to have put up in their household or outside their household because they're also cameras now and including lights. So the cool part about that is those same two connector pieces that you would use in order to put that spotlight or whatever it will be together are the same two pieces that you use for the ceiling fan. So I went by my instinct, and hopefully my dad was going to help guide me as much as he could. But it was really, you just go up there and you figure it out on your own type deal, which is what happened. So I didn't check the instruction manual to put everything together. I just looked at how things should possibly go and looked at the configuration that they had on the side and just really figured everything out mostly because it wasn't complicated to put together. But at the same time, if you aren't one of those people that are good at tinkering or like doing tedious things, this probably wouldn't have been a good exercise for you. You would have gotten a headache, and this is one of the reasons why they ask people to go around and pay for bed installs, ceiling fan installs, and things like that. Not because it's complicated, just because it takes a lot of time. Now, don't be surprised by the price when it comes to doing stuff like this because
1 hour later.
yeah, it took an entire hour just to get that thing put together, just so we know what we were doing. So don't be surprised by the time when someone says that, hey, why does it cost so much to put this together? Well, because it may possibly take
1 hour later.
remember how to put it back together if you were to do that. There's a ceiling fan behind me right here, right? If I were to take that down and replace it with whatever new ceiling fan that wanted to go up there, right? I would have to be able to put that one back up there if I was unable to do so because of my said skill of taking the ceiling fan down. Now, knowing what I know now, seeing how the wires are connecting, understanding that these are more like I guess conductor lights, I guess, that you can use for the outdoors. These are the same type things that you can use. So the cool part is they aren't that hard. They aren't that complicated. You can really do a floodlight. You can do this. You can do most of the things that require wire in the household. The dangerous part is make sure you turn the light switch off or turn the power off or turn whatever you need to turn off so that you do not get electrocuted in whatever regards. So my dad, you know, he's a risk taker, or if you don't know, he is a risk taker, and I'm not going to be the one to take his risks. So what we do, or what I did, was turn the actual power box off because I don't like playing this game of trying to get shot by electricity or currents when I don't know what's going to happen. So as we went up to do the install for this stuff, I realized that there was a piece that had to go up there that had to stay up there from the old device. And I was trying to tell my dad that, hey, man, that little square thing that's up there, rectangle, whatever it is really, really small. That has to go back up there. And for the main reason it has to go up there is so that it holds everything in place. And I'm telling him this because I do a bunch of floodlights, even though I hate doing floodlights. And it's mostly because of the price of the payout for the floodlights. The complexity of it isn't hard. But that piece that they have for the existing piece usually is old, rusted, has cobwebs, all type of stuff all over it. So you got to knock all that stuff off and then take it down and put it up. This one wasn't like that. It was just an old light that you got to switch out, put there. Boom. Now you had a new device that was ready to go. New lamp light or new ceiling fan light. So as we're going through this, I'm figuring out most of it, having my dad hold the wiring of it. Of course, he's getting tired because that's a lot of stuff to have to hold for a lengthy period of time. Not going to lie. That ceiling fan probably weighs about 30, maybe 45 pounds. So I was trying to hold it myself, had to get him up on a ladder. He does not have the greatest back in the world, so just bear with me on this one. So it's just to try to get him to hold it so that we can at least get it screwed up there, and I can get it to lock. There was a little locking piece that went in through the center of it. We went to see if all of that stuff was going to work. Before we could even do that, I had to make sure all of it was tightened, loosened, and actually set right before I did any of this stuff. Once again, now, this is my first time doing a ceiling fan install, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going off the whim, going off, I don't know, trying to figure this thing out as I go, and hopefully we do a great job, which is what we did, right? Cool, all right, bet. So we figured out that the wires that was up in there had to get stuffed in there so that you don't have additional wire. That wiring was probably about 6 feet long, so you got to stuff all that stuff in there. He talked about trying to cut it. I wasn't really with the cutting of the wire because that's how they gave it to me. We'll just stuff it in there. And right here is where we finally get the last little bit pieces going together, the ceiling fan. So we were doing this as a Mother's Day gift for Mom, just so she could have something new there because she really wanted something that was decent and a little bit more luminous so that it brightens the entire room and also at the same time able to cool. And this was a good training experience to try to figure out how to put all this up, to be honest with you. So we got the ceiling fan up. We're down to the last part now. We're just really trying to put the wiring to the light together so that the power's on. And then there are some switches that's going to go to it too. We're going to be able to pull all those. All of that stuff is the final pieces of it all to see how it all works. And once you are done, you screw it all together. Make sure it's all tight. Doesn't wibble, wobble. You want to make sure it's set. It's locked in place. Boom. Ensure that everything is tight, and that's why I'm going back over with the manual stuff. That's the old one. We had to get rid of that one. As you can see, it looks like a chandelier. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh no. There it is. There it is. A bright light. What? And there you have it, my good people. That is exactly how you do a ceiling fan install. So just for the record, like, that was my first time. Doesn't mean that it will be my last time. Probably doesn't mean that it will be your first or last time if you were to get started with doing it. The reason that I'm even doing the video is to show you that even if you don't know how to do something, try. It may just be comparable to something that you've already done before, and you may be able to get through it without even thinking that it's as tough as you thought. So the only reason I was able to attempt that is because, once again, I don't mind taking that risk. And granted, it was my parents' home. You would treat that home like you would treat everyone's home. So I wouldn't want to leave anything left hanging there, anything left unfinished like I wouldn't. So I wanted to make sure I took care of it. So if you do that with your parents, you make sure you do that with everyone. It's just giving off the value to someone else. So that learning skill, now that I know, if someone ever asks me, do I know how to install ceiling fans? I can say yes, and I can give what my price estimate would be. But honestly and truly, the tediousness of the job is probably what's most important. If you're comfortable with doing ceiling fans, then go for it. If not, then I would probably wait, try to see if there's something else I can do. But I will definitely say that it is a two-man job. I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself. You definitely want to get someone else that is just as equally as good as doing that as you. It's not tough, just really, really complicated to do by yourself, okay? So I was just giving you guys that video, letting you guys know what it looks like to do a ceiling fan install. So hopefully that was pretty dope because I like doing it. But yeah, man, we got more to do, more to show, more to give, and more value to drop. So just bear with me, guys. PKG Deluxe is here. PKG Deluxe is back, baby. All right, here we go.